Welcome to An Alternate Hue. I'm Hugh Anderson, and this is what caught my attention recently. On the left is a classic magazine cover predicting the end of the stock market. It was after a lengthy bear market, mind you, but it was right before the greatest bull market the world has ever seen. And just 2.5 short years ago, the media told us inflation was dead. But we all know that's a lie. Are you stunned by what you're seeing at the gas pump? And you're trying to understand what's going on in the grocery store? Well, let's talk inflation today. Macro Ops, one of our go-to research sources, will give us a walking tour about what's going on with commodities, which drive prices. And of course, with the price of gas lately, a lot of us may soon be walking. So stick with me on this because it's a little disjointed, but it all comes together nicely at the end. Demand for dirty coal peaked nearly a decade ago, and yet thermal coal prices are near their all-time highs. Rising coal has helped drive liquid natural gas prices to new records, and this in turn has boosted European gas, which has resulted in a wild spike in electricity pricing. Boy, wouldn't you like to turn on a light bulb in Europe? I'm not going there anytime soon. As a result, aluminum prices have soared. Why is that happening? Well, according to Macro Ops, we'll have to work backwards to see. So let's start with China, which produces the majority of the world's aluminum at over 60%. And aluminum smelting is a terribly energy-intensive business. And China gets most of its electricity from coal. With me so far? Now, Chinese coal production has had a difficult time keeping up with demand. And this is partially due to climate-related regulatory reforms and years of underinvestment by mine operators, those scoundrels who produce coal. And of course, hydropower, another significant source of Chinese power, has faltered this year following major droughts in certain parts of the country. So as a result, China has had to turn to the international market for coal, where many of the large producers are facing similar problems. Increased Chinese demand for seaborne coal means higher coal prices around the world. And higher coal prices ripple into higher natural gas costs, which means rising electricity rates for China and the world. And since China, as we said, produces most of the world's aluminum, we get soaring aluminum prices. Now, legacy institutions, aka governments, don't understand this, which is why they keep trying to impose things on the power grid in the form of renewables that rely on the whims of our increasingly sporadic weather, when they could rely on old dependables like gas, natural gas, oil, coal. But that's not PC. As a result, we end up consuming more dirty fuels at higher costs because the capital hasn't been invested to produce the needed supply or put into clean, reliable nuclear power, which is actually the greenest energy available today. Another perspective comes from GovCall. They're another research source of ours, and the world is not short of energy resources according to them. Broad energy demand remains down from 2 years ago, and although some sources of supply have been taken out of commission, there's still plenty of spare capacity. OPEC's sitting on about 7 million barrels of excess capacity per day, and the world is afloat in natural gas. So why are we so short of energy, and why are prices going up? We'll have to drill down, no pun intended. It appears this is not one crisis, but many. The effects, worsening shortages and surging prices, are much the same in different regions. And although the causes of these crises may appear to differ wildly, there's a common thread around the world. Shortages and price rises are typically the result of market distortions caused by deliberate policies. So let's take the U.S. for instance. Regional differences between natural gas have been caused by a failure to invest in adequate infrastructure, with pipeline and terminal construction deterred by current environmental regulations, and the fear that future policy decisions could leave investors sitting on worthless assets. So imagine spending billions of dollars connecting a pipeline from point A to point B and then suddenly having it outlawed. Oh, that's right. We've seen that movie before. Now, China's troubles result largely from Beijing's urge to punish Australia for its perceived political transgressions, coupled with an understandable inclination to improve safety and lower the adverse environmental impact at domestic coal mines. And of course, in Europe, the decision to decommission coal plants and Germany's nuclear plants has increased dependence on natural gas imported from everybody's favorite villain, Russia. The motives behind these decisions vary, but two stand out. First, there's the desire to go green, to shift to less polluting energy sources with fewer greenhouse gas emissions. Wonderful. Second, there is the urge to improve efficiency to provide the energy needed with the smallest possible capital investment. Both aims are in tune with the spirit of recent years. Viewed in isolation, both are laudable, but together they've led to the creation of an inflexible and fragile system highly vulnerable to disruptions in the supply of single energy sources. Think of the spider web in the forest. The gentle breeze, the web stays intact, but when you walk through it, you destroy it. That's a fragile system. Politicians are maintaining that the price rises are the result of COVID-induced disruptions. We all have seen these pictures. All of those wonderful cargo ships with your holiday gifts sitting on them stranded outside the ports of LA and Long Beach. Few appear to worry that those policy agendas are responsible for much of the rise in prices. But until they do, economies will remain exposed to similarly disruptive policy-induced energy crises. That's it for this week. We've got more to come on inflation, I'm sure. But until next time, this has been An Alternate View. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you can find us on social media, we're there. Have a great day, stay healthy, stay prosperous.